Okay, Terry, what's going on here today? What are we looking at?
Well, we're just standing in a field of wheat, just checking things out. It's just kind of finishing heading and flowering here. You can see there's a few flowers and stuff, and generally we've had some good moisture. We got a few things going on here, but yeah, things are looking pretty good. A long ways from what they were looking like a few weeks ago. We're probably still maybe a week behind schedule as far as crop development. The heat units have been a little bit less. It's a beautiful day today, obviously, but it's been getting cool at night. You know, it's been getting down to 10 degrees. Yeah, and this spot isn't that bad, but we're definitely noticing, I mean, there wasn't much weed growth early on. We tried to hold off herbicide applications as long as we could, but we're definitely seeing there's some fields where there's a lot of growth coming in after the fact. And it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in a couple weeks around the countryside, because I think there's going to be some weeds coming through at harvest time. I don't know if it's going to affect the crop too much. It just, you know, it might look a little ugly.
We wish we could tell you what this flag means.
It's top secret, so government, you know, like CIA type stuff. But
the truth is out there.
Yeah, we got lots of cool trials going on this year, and it's been looking. I think we're gonna get a weigh wagon this fall to help manage that a little bit better, and yeah, so I'm hoping that turns out pretty good. And was just out checking some 5-year biosol fields yesterday.
You don't say.
Looking pretty good, and getting some tissues on there just to kind of prove the proof in the pudding.
What was your level of sulfur deficiency at that stage?
Well, from the way the crop looked, I didn't think there was any deficiency, but looks pretty good. But we'll make sure with the tissue tests we got what we want to have there. And overall, our area here this year has been pretty good in general compared to maybe what a lot of people are dealing with. I mean, it started out cold and lots of bug issues and flea beetles and stuff, but things have really come around. And
did you get your tissues back yet?
Well, we've been doing tissue tests all year, so
yeah, right.
I think I've done about 50 on the farm so far, and probably be about 70 when we get done with it. So we've got quite a few trials that we're following too, and like to follow things throughout the year. And I guess our field day is coming up on July 26th, so looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. I have an awesome group of people out. Mike and Elson will be out again, and lots of great industry people, and we're going to be talking about tile drainage. We actually got some work done. I haven't seen it yet, but I think we're going to be looking at some tile drainage plans actually for the field that we're standing in right now, and see what that looks like. We're going to be looking at our intercrops. Hopefully there's a few intercrop experts that come along too that can share some insight. We'll be really looking a lot deeper into the crop intelligence stuff. We've got 4 probes on the farm this year, and that's been really valuable again, and I think it's something we need to start working with more with our clients. We'll be talking about a bunch of different nutrient and foliar strategies as usual, some plant growth regulators, 5-year biosol stuff, and some other probably cool stuff that I can't share yet. I'm not sure if it's all going to come together, but it'll be good. Look forward to it.
And there's a band again this year?
Yeah, we got the same band coming again as always. It's always a great time, and we've got Matt Gore, the magician, coming. And for those that don't know Matt Gore, you should look him up. Really? He's pretty he's amazing, awesome guy. I'm actually surprised his agent lets us book him coming out here to the middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan on the farm yet, but I'm pretty excited to have him again. He's awesome, and
yeah, we had him at a hospitality event for Aberhart Ag.
Yeah, and then we had him here 2 years ago too, and
he's exceptional.
A lot of fun. So really looking forward to that, and it won't be long after that before we're getting into harvest. It's gonna be a little bit later this year, I think, just the way things are coming along, and we've got moisture to hold things along where we are at here. So
how did the canola come in? It seems to be a problem spot for lots of guys this year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like for us, our first third of canola, I'd like to disown, or it looks pretty shabby and spotty, but it's really coming around quite a bit too. The middle third is average, which is good, and the last third is exceptional. So I think it'll probably all average out, and canola can really, it really can do a lot. There's times where you go out and look at it and you're just like, it's starting to flower and you're like, oh, this is horrible. And then you come back a week or 10 days later and it's hard to recognize it's the same crop, right? So we've got the moisture now, we've got the nutrient package. I think it'll come along.
What's some of the other bright spots or not so bright spots with the other crops?
Cereals have come a long ways. Like, they were maybe a little bit shorter and a little bit behind development too, but now, like, with the moisture, things are like same thing. There's a few. This is one of the earlier fields, so it's all right. It's a little bit plant population isn't quite where we wanted it to be, but yeah, some of the other cereal crops are looking exceptional.
Yeah.
As well. So
what are your yield goals for some of the main crops out here?
Well, our yield goals, like our targets, would be 60 on canola, but our long-term averages are about 46, I think, on canola. And wheat, like this, we're shooting for 75, 80 on hard red spring wheat. Our average is about 60, our long-term average. Malt barley, we'd be shooting for 100, 110. Long-term average is 91. Those are kind of the main ones.
And how much moisture have you had so far this year?
Well, that's a good question. And instead of guessing, I can just look at my crop intelligence app and tell you.
Paid endorsement here.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not getting any free hardware, are you, from Ryan? Or
well, they
should be.
As part of our field day and our Growing the Future project, actually, I do have to thank South Country in particular, because as part of their sponsorship, they helped us out with the weather station on that field this year. We've got 3 of our own. So, between all of our stations, we got one in barley. We've got 5 inches of available water. We've had almost 5 inches of rain since the probe went in, which is right after seeding. So we're at 64% of our average rainfall, but we started with a full tank, and right now the yield goal is 100, but our intelligence apps is showing we have plus 38 bushel potential, and that's in the good zone of the field, right? Which is fairly accurate. At Langeberg or at Gopherville there, we've got 4.5 inches of rain so far. There's 8 inches of available water. We're at 77% of the average rainfall in that field, and we got a 57 bushel yield goal there. We've got 20 bushel potential over that on the elevator half right by Langeberg. We got 13 mils last night and some hail that probably didn't fit in the rain gauge, but there's 8.8 inches of available water, 5.2 inches of rain so far, and 75 bushel yield goal with plus 35 yield potential. And then in another canola field, we're about 4 inches of rain.
So how many inches in the season?
So we're around anywhere from 3.95 to 5.2.
And that's 64% of the average?
Yeah, anywhere from 64 to almost 80% of the average. And so it's interesting, like even, last night there was a rainfall event. One of the probes got 9 millimeters, one got 8, one got 13, and one got nothing.
Yeah.
And, the probes are probably altogether, about a 12-mile radius.
Yeah.
Of each other. So it's
how many probes?
We've got 4 probes
on
this year
on 15,000 acres.
Yeah.
Is that ideal?
Actually, probably we would, like, next year. I've got most of the land around the home block covered pretty well, but we have got a chunk in Manitoba. Yeah. 2 different chunks, one down by the lake at Dropmore and one over by Russell.
Yeah.
We don't have probes there, and next year I think I'll add probes in those locations.
Sweet.
So there's a lot of value there too. Victor, who just started working with us as an R&D manager now, on the farm here for research and agronomy stuff. And he's going to be working with the sugar growth team a bit too. He just, got a bit of training on the leaf wetness scales and how to interpret that. So if you got over a certain number all the time, then your risk is higher for disease and sclerotinia and stuff like that. So just, more information help make better decisions and have more confidence in what you're doing.
What are you putting on the crop in terms of fungicides or micros or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we have kind of a season-long program with foliars and micros, so it's probably a little bit a lot of stuff to share in a short little video, but we're usually putting some stuff in at herbicide, adjusting to our tissue tests a little bit of phos and boron and things like that. And then fungicide timing, we're usually cereals we're going at the head timing. We're using Pizarro XDR the last couple of years, been working good, and usually look to get a little bit of phos and boron in there at that time too. And then canola, it's, we're kind of basing that based on the conditions in our PCR tests and things like that. So we're kind of just in the middle of that right now. But
cool.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. What's the date? July?
It is the 12th of July.
12th of July. Things are looking not too bad out at Aberhart Farms, Landsberg, Saskatchewan, Canada. We'll see you all at Ag in Motion next week. Hey?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Should be good.